You can do it in the chat. You can raise your hand, or you can wait till the end. We should have plenty of time for questions, but feel free to interrupt us. Yeah, we're just trying to help all of you guys out with this, so don't worry about it. And we'll just start by introductions. So our team at the PHA, we're a group of peer mentors that are putting this on. My name is Alex Beasley. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in neuroscience and religion, and I'm on the pre-med track. So yeah, we'll go on to the next members of our team.
What's up, guys? My name is Matt. I know a couple people on this call, so what's going on, but I'm a junior. I'm doing my Chem BS right now. I'm a physics minor, and I'm going pre-dental, but I also do work with the med school through HSAT and Pipeline. So yeah, if you guys want to talk about that with me, you're more than welcome to.
Hey everyone, I'm a third year and I'm a biology major. And if you have any questions about any gap years and some virtual shadowing experiences, which we're going to get further into, you can definitely ask me about that.
Hi guys, I'm Michelle. I'm a fourth year. I'm a neuroscience and behavioral biology major, and I'm on the pre-vet track.
Hey guys, I'm Thomas. I'm a fourth year. I'm majoring in bio and minoring in music, and I'm on the pre-med track.
Hi guys, I'm Tiffany. I'm majoring in NBB. I'm on the pre-med track, and if you have any questions about research or EMT or anything like that, you can talk to me.
All right. I think, is that everybody? The PHA team. If it is, well, I just want to welcome you guys all here. I'm really glad that so many of you guys came out. As you saw earlier, the flyer. If this is what you came for, you're in the right place. So we'll get started. The biggest part about building a competitive profile amidst all this crazy pandemic is that you need to write your own story. So pre-health is very unique. Your pre-health journey shouldn't look like anybody else's. You have to focus on what you enjoy and what you have passions for. The goal should be to do things that would let your resume speak for your character. So it's not to check everything off in the box or to do anything that might sound good, but you want to really make a story with your resume. So as we give you a lot of options, we're going to give you a lot of different opportunities that we have compiled, but don't feel like you have to do all of them. Just pick out what you think would go well when you're writing your own story. And this is a unique time, as we all know, with the pandemic. And our summer and winter breaks are a lot different. For example, winter breaks a lot longer. We don't have as many small spring and fall breaks. So being able to plan out different events ahead of time is great for this. So we're going to start out by talking about our winter breaks. So these are options that are comprised of short-term commitments. So winter breaks a lot smaller. Well, this year it's pretty large, pretty long. But these are more short-term, whereas the summer opportunities that we're going to talk about later are more long-term. So we're going to start off by talking about virtual shadowing. So virtual shadowing is a great thing that we can do now. You can start at any time, and it's done through Zoom and YouTube Live. There's a lot of different organizations on campus and just throughout the country that are providing some great virtual shadowing opportunities. Here on this slide, we have a couple options, a couple Instagram virtual shadowing links you can look at. And as we go on to the next, slide, we can see that a lot of these virtual shadowing opportunities aren't just passive. There are a lot of different pre-health tracks. There's pre-vet, or not pre-vet, there's pre-med, pre-PA, nursing, the people that will talk. So whatever your pre-health track is, that you'll be able to find something, and be sure to look at trying to find certifications, because that's going to look great on a resume going forward, to have kind of a proof that you did something and you learned something along this time. So one big question with virtual shadowing is this going to count towards your shadowing and healthcare experience? As it is very different than past years. And the answer to that is yes. You can put this under your healthcare experiences and your CV or resume. We all know that this is a very different and trying time, and so do professional schools. So that they know that the physical shadowing is not always possible for everybody. So going on one shadowing program that's tied to Emory is the Georgia Pre-Health Shadowing Program. It's for Emory and UGA students, and it offers virtual shadowing opportunities every single week. So if you guys would want to sign up with this link, we'll send this out so you can click on it individually and everything. But by signing up, you get put on this email listserv where they'll give you a lot of different options for shadowing. It gives a quick description of talking about who's going to be speaking on the shadowing event and what they're about. So you can decide who you want, if it's going to be useful for you, if it's follows your pre-track or anything like that. So I'd highly recommend getting on that listserv and starting some virtual shadowing, because it's very easy to do now. And then next, there's a Johns Hopkins contact tracing course. So this is a free course if you sign up before 2021. So we got a couple more months here, and it's going to be a great thing where you go through and it's at your own pace. And Johns Hopkins is giving a shareable certificate. So that's kind of what you want to be looking for in these times. These certificates are going to be like gold for resumes and just as proof that you're doing work over this pandemic. And there's a few things that would be more important right now than to be learning from one of the world's top universities and hospitals about COVID-19 tracking and tracing. So that's something I think you guys should definitely take a look at. And I'll hand it over to Matt for some volunteering.
Cool. Yeah. So, with the pandemic and with shadowing being such an issue, that I'm sure you're all aware of by now, something that you should really be focusing on is volunteering, especially when you're not in school. Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to get involved, and we're going to highlight some options here. They're definitely not the only ones, like Alex was saying, but hopefully they serve as some kind of creative point for you to think about what you might want to start getting involved with. The first being clinical volunteering, which is on the last slide. But yeah, reach out to local clinics. Some might be offering them. A lot aren't, but you never know if you're going to get lucky. So definitely encourage you guys to do that. And then moving forward, the American Red Cross is another health related thing that you can get involved with. And they got a lot of different positions to practice while you're still socially distancing. So yeah, there's a variety of options. There's administrative support, fundraising, planning, and tons of other stuff that you can access with that link right there. And then moving on, there's Meals on Wheels, which is not something that I've been involved with, but one of my pre-dental friends is, and he always speaks really highly of it. And especially with the pandemic right now, there's a lot of urgent need, to get these meals out to people that really need it. So they're pretty much everywhere, in America. And if there's one in your local community, I'd highly recommend that you guys start getting involved with them. Yeah, so then if you're unable to get out the house for whatever reason, it might be safety or traveling or whatever the reason is, there's still a lot of things that you can do, whether it be online or just in your local community, in your neighborhood, or wherever it might be. So one thing is just taking care of the elderly. That link there will take you to a program that helps you write letters and kind of just lift the spirits of people that are struggling. Specifically elderly patients. But if that's not your scene and you prefer more pediatric related care, there's Arc of Hope, which is an e-mentoring program. And here you can mentor these kids online and focus on really breaking the chains for survivors of child abuse, which is, it's pretty profound. It's a really great thing to get involved with. Again, other opportunities. You're all Emory students, and because of that, you can market yourself as a qualified tutor. There's a number of different programs and different ways that you can get involved, whether it's on Emory campus as an EPAS tutor or, externally. So here are some organizations for you guys to look into. There's Upcheap, which is a free online platform, connects low income students, with live tutors. There's Best Buddies, and they do very much the same kind of thing. It's a great organization. It provides volunteer opportunities to support, empower, and aid people living with intellectual and development disabilities. And then there's Frontlines, again, another tutoring thing that was developed by UCLA students, really great. But yeah, and as we mentioned before, these aren't the only opportunities that you can seek out. If there's somebody in your neighborhood, in your community that needs these kind of services, feel free to do that too. But these are just, some ways that you can seek out these opportunities.
Also, for additional opportunities, if you're stuck at home, there's this organization called Bookshare. And what they do is they share like printed materials such as books and like journals, and lets children and adults with disabilities read it. As a virtual volunteer, you'll be responsible with doing tasks such as like scanning and proofreading these pages, and like sort of describing it in order for them to be able to read it and access it. And moving forward.
Sorry, we just got a really good question in the chat. So Sydney asked, are these all short-term commitments since this is being presented in the winter break section? So do you guys want to address that?
Yeah, these are things you can stick with through your whole time at Emory, honestly.
Okay, and so moving forward, there are other opportunities for you to do if you're more on the artistic side. So for instance, there's this organization called Baking Patrol.
We just
Sorry, what?
And we just had a little bit of
sorry,
issues.
did I just cut out there?
Just for a second.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, no, I was just answering that winter break question, but it's all good.
Oh, okay. But yeah, for anyone who's artistically inclined, there's this organization called Baking Patrol, and what they do is that before they used to make homemade blankets for the homeless, but now with the ongoing COVID pandemic, they are requesting for masks to be made. And so what they have are YouTube videos online, which sort of teaches you how to make these masks so that you can send it to them. And also there's this organization called Chemo Angels, and what they do is they sort of, as a volunteer, you are involved in the treatment of a patient by sending them little gifts or like little cards and art projects, and you don't have to spend that much, but it's in the end, it's a very gratifying and rewarding experience as a volunteer, for sure. And if you are more interested in Helplines, there is 7 Cups, which is sort of like a crisis hotline where you can sort of, as a volunteer, you'll be responsible for actively listening to listeners whenever they're in emotional distress. And as a volunteer, you'd have to complete an active listening course. But however, this will definitely be for sure another rewarding experience. The crisis text line is also available too, and this is run by volunteers that work remotely. So basically, if you're at home, this would be the perfect opportunity for you to do this. So, and they sort of have to do a similar task of just being an active listener and trying to like, resolve a situation in a calm and like collective way. At the moment, the crisis text line, it's at full capacity. However, if you are interested, there's a link below and you can check at a later date to see if they will allow more applicants.
We just got another really great, actually 2 questions in the chat. So the first one is, how do you show proof that you did these activities on your resume, such as writing letters to the elderly or tutoring? Because unlike virtual shadowing, there isn't really a certificate per se that comes with it.
Right. Yeah, I can answer this one. So a lot of places won't have certifications made up already, but you could ask for any sort of log or proof for that to keep for yourself. But on resumes and things like that, you don't always need your proof. Um, when a resume will get you into an interview or something like that, and once they're in, talking about these things is really going to show your knowledge and show how involved you were. So if you only did this for a couple minutes, you know, here and there, and you weren't really invested in it, that's going to show through. So like most things on resumes don't have like hardbound proof behind all of it. But just being able to talk about that and that you made a meaningful impact is really what you should be looking for. A great question.
And then we got another really good question about whether they should do these activities for a long time in order to put them on the resume, or I guess could they do it for a short-term period and still be able to put them on the resume?
Right. Obviously, it would look better the longer you have. Just kind of putting in the time shows how much you care about one of these. And like we were saying earlier, you don't need to do all of them. Just find one or two that would work with your certain situation, be it your location or your free time. Find one or two, and I would recommend just trying to sink as much time as you could into those because it does look better having fewer larger impacts than a lot of smaller ones. It shows that you really care about what you're doing and not that you would be and that you're not just kind of trying to check off a box. So that's the advice I would have for that. Great question though.
All right, so we're going to start talking more about specific pre-health opportunities. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the virtual opportunities that you can do if anyone in the audience is pre-vet. So as of today, there isn't any like online shadowing specifically for veterinary clinics or hospitals yet. So I think the best bet with shadowing or getting your veterinary experience would pretty much be like in person in a clinic. And then over at Emory, you can get, there are like a couple of clubs that will offer more information about like the veterinary career, and you can gain information on like specific career aspects of the veterinary profession. So that's like you have like the pre-vet club as a resource. And then you also have the Wildlife Disease Association, which focuses more on the intersection of medicine and public health. And then you have Volunteer Emory, specifically positive outreach. Unfortunately, I believe this academic year, they're not going to be doing any weekly trips to the no-kill shelter that they usually go to, but Volunteer Emory is holding virtual events that are weekly, and you can take advantage of these events to get your non-animal volunteer experiences, and you like also any other of the experiences that were previously mentioned to get your non-animal volunteer experiences. And then potential remote research. It's quite late in the semester, I think, to like reach out to like want to start, but you can keep these organizations in mind for like maybe next semester or like future research. You can reach out to the CDC and Division of Animal Resources here at Emory in the Whitehead Biomedical Research Building, or the Yerkes Primate National Research Center. So for the Yerkes Research Center, they aren't taking any more people in for this fall, but in the spring, they are planning on onboarding more students. So you can keep that in mind. And I think for most of these, you would need to like just kind of cold email them pretty pretty much. So just like make sure if you are planning on like wanting to work with them, definitely start early. Yeah.
Yeah, so then speaking on pre-dental opportunities, right now there are no online shadowing opportunities available in the Emory vicinity. It might be different in your local communities, wherever you guys are. But yeah, and then in-person shadowing is pretty much just up to the discretion of the practice itself. But you know, there is a minimum requirement or encouraged requirement of at least 100 hours of clinical experience when you're applying to dental school. So I would still encourage you guys to all, if you're pre-dental, to reach out to these people and see if anybody will take you. And then if you want more updates on that kind of stuff, the EASDA, which is our pre-dental society club at Emory, is really good about keeping everybody updated and informed. And I'm on the service committee for that. So, you know, if anybody needs to talk about how to get involved with that, it's all good. You can always just shoot me an email or whatever. But yeah, and then one pre-dental specific thing that you could do is continuing education. And you know, we have the link provided for you there. So as a practicing dentist, you are required to fulfill continuing education requirements, but there's no reason why you can't start now. And you know, it's really helpful as something more unique and more competitive when you get to the point of applying and interviewing. So yeah, I definitely recommend that you guys check those out and maybe just start working on them whenever you have free time. And then as a final note, and this goes for anybody who's pre-dental, but also anybody who is thinking about doing surgery, there always are questions about what have you done for your dexterity through your undergrad experience. So here we have a couple ideas listed out for you: sculpting, painting, printing, calligraphy, instruments, sewing and knitting, video games, or pretty much anything that works for you. And I'd really encourage you guys to get as creative as you can with this, because it serves as a really useful talking point in interviews, you know, just to differentiate yourself.
All right, so we're gonna start moving on to the summer break opportunities. Just to keep in mind that these opportunities that we're gonna mention are probably more like in a long-term sense, and they probably like we recommend you doing them like during the summer when you're not in school, because it can be a bit time consuming. So I'm going to talk about the pre-vet opportunities again. So these I listed as in person. So you have your volunteering opportunities and internships. Although there are like travel restrictions and just restrictions in general due to the pandemic, you can keep this site in mind for if you're looking for broader animal experiences besides your common small animal practices. So you can look at these for your zoos aquarium, such as like reaching out to the Georgia Aquarium or wildlife rehabilitation in different states here in the US. And then of course going abroad if you want like more wildlife experience and international veterinary medicine experience. And then shadowing at local clinics, again, this is more of you going to the clinic, probably with like a resume in hand or like emailing with your intentions of like what you want to do, and it's up to the discretion of the clinics as well. And then at Emory, you can work at the Division of Animal Resources because that website's listed there. You can reach out to Ashley Varnado, who's the treasurer of the Pre-Vet Club, and she's currently working there now. So they're probably more interested in hiring people who are willing to work throughout the academic year. And then for Yerke's Primate Research Center, you can just reach out to any of the speakers here, because there are people who have worked at Yerke's that we know. So feel free to reach out regarding that.
Yeah, and going forward with some of the summer opportunities, one of the most popular things for pre-health students in the summers are EMT programs. As some of you might know, Emory offers an EMT program during the year. but that it is a full year course, and and it's during all your classes. So some people really enjoy it. I know Tiffany here has EMT experience, so she can discuss that if you guys talk about it. But I'm just going to be talking more about the summer EMT programs. So there are a couple websites we have listed here that offer summer programs in Atlanta. But no matter where you are, you should be able to find some. A lot of community colleges will offer courses, or larger hospitals in your area. So yeah, it's a great way to gain clinical hours, firsthand experience in a hospital setting, and to really show your professional schools that you're in for anything with medicine. So the Grady program, for example, which I'm planning on doing this coming summer, is a fantastic experience. Considering Grady has the largest trauma unit in the entire south of the United States. So you'll be able to see a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't see well into their professional careers. So in doing this for the EMT certification, you would take a course, or you learn basic skills and have to pass a couple tests. Then you need to pass the national registry exam, complete any local or county requirements, and then after that, you're ready to apply for your EMT job, and you can work. You can work with your own schedule to get more and more clinical hours like that. So I see we have a question. Are summer EMT programs still running because of COVID? So that's a great question. We last summer, when COVID had just started, they got stopped. But so far, I know for at least Grady that they have some open classes for the spring. So as long as nothing too bad changes, if there's no crazy spike, then you would then it's looking great that they would still be happening in the summer. And then when do we need to apply for certification courses? I would get that done as soon as possible. So this winter would be a great time to get these applications in. If you explore these websites, they'll have information on these programs. And if you don't see a certain thing that you might be looking for, go ahead and call whoever's in charge. They're always extremely helpful. So I would definitely recommend doing it as early as possible to show that there's enough interest to start a class and to secure your spot. So going forward, another thing on the same vein are CNA classes. So as a CNA, you're a certified nursing assistant. This is very popular for people on the pre-nursing track, but also great for people going into any medical field. Here are a couple links to a couple CNA programs, one in Atlanta, one that just tries to locate the closest free CNA program near you. So as a CNA, you will know basic medical care, and a lot of times you'll work in retirement or nursing homes. And there are always plenty of nursing homes around, no matter where you are, where you live. It's always easy to find one, and a lot of times they're understaffed. So CNAs are in great demand. So it would be very easy way to get hands-on clinical experience as your home for a break or two. In addition to this, there's medical scribe. This is very popular because you get a very intimate relationship with the medicine that's going on, and you are basically the right-hand man to the physician or PA that you'd be following, or nurse. So as they go through their day, you're going to be transcribing what they're doing to keep notes. And to be able to do this, you're going to have fast typing, fast and accurate typing skills, as well as learning a lot of medical terms. So being able to do this is a great way to show how interested you are, and to learn a lot of kind of the behind the scenes thing in the medical field that a lot of people won't get if they just shadow for a day or two, or if they are volunteering in any other aspect. So, and then other than that, there are the undergraduate summer research programs. Now things might be a little different with COVID, as most things are, but I do know that Emory has a large part of its budget cut out for funding undergraduate research programs. So they're going to find a way, be it through SURE or SIRE or different programs like this. And a lot of these programs you can apply will be providing, they'll give you a stipend, the university will, or the different organizations will give you stipends for housing and living expenses if you're going to be on campus. And this is a great thing that you can look not at with just Emory, but your local local colleges that you might be near for break over long periods of time. And as Michelle talked about earlier, some of these might not be opening up yet, but it's always great, even if they're not, to start getting in contact. That'll kind of help you stand out for others. So when they open up, you're the first person they think of to get onboarded. So that's the last of the material we have for this program. And I just want to say to you guys, all of this is extra. So this is an unprecedented time with this global pandemic, and people as well as professional schools are going to understand that it's really hard to do these extracurricular things. They're going to understand if you're not able to do a lot of them, but if you are able to do one or two during all these times, it's really going to show how much you're caring about these different about what you want to go into. It's really going to show some character on a resume, as we've been talking, and show that you really care about what you're doing. So I would recommend to do what you can. It's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. It's gonna really set you apart from other people that might be taking kind of this as a break. But be that as it may, do what you can. And if you guys have any questions, let us know. We're going to be here for that. And if you can email us individually, you can speak if you want to, or you can type yours in the chat. But I just want to thank you guys all for coming. It's been great. And yeah, send questions my way. We're ready.
And just as a reminder, if you haven't filled out the attendance form yet, please do so. I'm just going to drop it in the chat again because we are going to send you the PowerPoint with all of the links on it. And so it's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, thank you for coming, guys. Have a good night.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so for medical scribe, like I know that involves like typing, obviously. Is there like a words per minute type of thing you have to be able to do? Because I'm sure like there's probably other requirements along with that.
So,
Right. So yeah, I looked into doing this a couple summers ago, and I was terrible at typing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to look down at my fingers, and I was just going pointers. And I saw that they normally want you to be able to accurately at a 95% rate at about 60 to 70 words per minute. That's kind of the average they're looking at. And there's plenty of typing tests that you can find for free online. And for me to get up to that, I just did typing tests like in between homework assignments and things like that. And I got up to that in just a month or two. So,
yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.